My name is Lila Hart. I'm 28 years old. I woke from a 3-week coma to an empty hospital room. No father. No brothers. No cards. No visitors. Just a single sheet of heavy stationery sitting on my bedside table, watermarked with Hart Residence, Greenwich, Connecticut. My father's handwriting was beneath it. Lila. We've decided to stop covering your medical expenses. Your brothers agree it's time you handle things on your own. Good luck. Dad. I read it 4 times. Then I cried until my throat went raw. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. A limp bouquet of carnations slumped on the windowsill. A nurse named Marin checked my vitals and told me I'd been unconscious for 22 days. Has anyone been here? I rasped. She hesitated. A woman came by last week. Signed papers. Said future bills go to you. She brought the flowers. I didn't have to ask which woman. I worked ICU nights in Stamford and had been paying my own way for years, but my emergency contact was still my father because some part of me kept expecting him to act like one. He hadn't. I stared at the ceiling and did the math anyway. ICU. Surgery. Specialists. Rehab. The numbers piled up while my body still couldn't sit up without shaking. But my father made one mistake. He forgot what my mother left behind. And he forgot about the man who would walk into my room on day 3. A gray suit. A leather briefcase. A calm that didn't belong in a place like this. Before I tell you about him, I need to take you back to the beginning. To the Greenwich house with the iron gate. The walnut dining table set for 4. And the night I learned that needing someone could be treated like a crime. Greenwich looked like a postcard. A stone facade. A swimming pool. A 3-car garage. My father's kingdom. Every Sunday, my stepmother Celeste set 4 places at the table. Dad at the head. Celeste beside him. My brother miles across from them. And sometimes Jonah, if he was in town. There was never a 5th chair. Whenever I showed up anyway, Celeste would smile and say, "Oh, Lila, we didn't expect you. Let me see if we have enough." Dad never looked up from his phone. I kept trying because I'd been trained to. When I was 12, I played a recital in a school gym. Dad promised to pick me up at 8:30. He never came. I waited under fluorescent lights, calling his voicemail over and over until my throat tightened. Finally, I called my mother, Elise. "Stay inside, baby," she said. "I'm coming." A March downpour had turned the roads into rivers. A pickup truck hydroplaned through a red light and slammed into her driver's side door. She was pronounced dead at Stamford Hospital at 9:47 p.m. My father arrived an hour later. He stood over me in my recital dress and said, "Your mother drove out in that storm because of you." At the funeral, my grandmother, Nora Ellis, held me close and whispered, "Your mom made sure you'll be taken care of." I thought she meant heaven. 2 years later, Celeste moved in. She was precise. Photos disappeared. The piano vanished. My bedroom became an office. When I once asked whether Mom had left any papers for me, Dad's expression went cold. "She left debt. I cleaned it up. Don't bring her up again." So I swallowed everything. Until the coma. Until the note. Until one question refused to stop clawing at me. If I'm worth nothing, why do they need my signature? On the 3rd day after I woke up, a man in a gray suit knocked on my hospital door and waited. "Martin Calloway," he said, setting a leather briefcase on my tray table. "Trustee for the Elise Hart Irrevocable Trust." I stared at him. "I've been trying to reach you since you turned 25, he continued. Certified letters were sent to the Greenwich house. Every one of them was signed for. By Celeste? I asked. He nodded. Then he slid several documents onto the tray. Proof of delivery. My mother's signature. A notarized trust agreement. And a property deed. The address knocked the air from my lungs. 14 Edgewater Lane. Your mother purchased this property before she married your father, Calloway explained. It was placed into trust for you. Your father has been living there and using it as collateral. 16 years of being told I was a burden suddenly cracked open. And beneath it was anger with a direction. A week later, sore but standing, I walked into my father's charity gala wearing a plain blazer. He was on stage, glowing beneath the lights, telling donors how he had built everything himself. Celeste sat proudly at the front table. When the applause faded, I stepped forward and raised the deed. Calloway followed beside me. His voice carried through the ballroom. Title documents. Trust records. Intercepted mail. False collateral filings. The room went silent. A banker near the stage stood up, his face tightening. The deal is suspended, he announced. My father's confident smile faltered. For the first time, he looked afraid. I met his eyes and kept my voice steady. You told a 12-year-old girl she killed her mother, I said. That lie ends tonight. Across the room, Jonah stood. He walked over and took a place beside me. He didn't say a word. He simply stayed. By June, the trust was fully transferred into my name. I paid every hospital bill. I closed my father out of the estate. And I sold the house. Then I moved into a small place filled with honest sunlight. I framed a single photograph of my mother. And for the first time in years, I breathed like someone who was finally allowed to live.